As a certified New York City tour guide, thank you, I like to start and end my tours with a contentious statement that gets people engaged, but also makes some people mad, and that is that New York is the best city in the world. I'll explain. To start, I don't think this is an America thing, because New York is not really an American city. It's an international city, and it has always been. Today, 36% of New York is foreign-born, and at times in its history, it's been as high as over 60%. And this is part of the reason the city is so great, because its number one import, and consequently its number one export, is its energy. The energy of New York is what makes it the best, because I get people from all over the world on my tours. You name the country, Tonga, Luxembourg, Zimbabwe, Brazil, and when I say New York is the best, people get defensive. They say their city is prettier, cleaner, older, friendlier, or has better weather. And I don't argue, because New York doesn't claim to be any of those things. But one thing they never try to claim is that their city is more energetic, talented, and ambitious than New York. It's just not going to happen, and they know it. They would get laughed out of the conversation, and it would be embarrassing. Everyone knows that everything ends in New York. It doesn't matter whether you're a banker, lawyer, dancer, doctor, designer, musician. If you have done it successfully in New York City, you don't have to leave and try your luck anywhere else. You have done it. And you can't say that about any big city in the world like you can about New York. Hong Kong, Paris, Madrid, no one here cares. It's New York. Until you've done it here, you will always have an asterisk. And that's the energy of New York. It's what you feel in Midtown on a weekday, in the subways during rush hour, in downtown on the weekends, and in the artist and immigrant communities in Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Queens. It's a very special thing, but it's important to remember that a lot of it is brought from outside the city. There's a great quote by E.B. White that sums it up. He says, "Natives give New York its solidity and continuity. Commuters give it its tidal restlessness, but settlers give it passion." And that's what makes New York special. The passion of the city, because it's a special type of energy. And the people in New York have to have it to live here, because life in New York is not easy. It's loud, dirty, crowded, expensive, and only people who have purpose will put up with it, because they know they won't find the energy to strive like that anywhere else in the world. And those settlers have come from China, Italy, and Ireland, but they've also come from Mexico, Florida, Israel, Uzbekistan, Malaysia. That's why New York can claim to be the capital of the world, because literally every country in the world is represented here. And not just anyone from those countries, the people who look at a map and say, "I want to make it New York City." It takes a certain level of ambition and delusion, but either way, it's intensity. And it is the fuel of the engine of the city of New York. So when you visit skyscrapers, bridges, and parks, or see Broadway shows or concerts in the city, it's important to keep in mind that they are just the physical manifestation of what is the real essence of New York, and that is the people. It is the people and their dreams, talent, and desire, as well as their flaws, failures, and drama that have made this young city the envy and example for cities that have been around since the Roman Empire. And it is the responsibility of any city to cultivate a space where all types of people can coexist, because that is the definition of any great city, and it is a definition that New York has solidified. That is why New York City is the best city in the world. Now please tip.